All right. I think we're live. I think we are back to live. And I'm just going to be bringing people in. And we're going to find out what the best bets are for the NASCAR race today. So, hang on. Let me get someone else in here. Might as well kill some time. Paste. If you want to come on and discuss the best bets, your favorite bets for the day, that's what we're going to do. Because what else are we going to do? Anyone with a camera that wants to come on that can be mature, I will DM you a link on Twitter if you want to come on and discuss your favorite bets of the day. So get in here and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I have Derek Yoder headed in here, and I've got a couple other people on tap to come in and discuss their favorite bet of the day. I'll critique it, maybe not. Who knows? But I did. Yeah. So all my friends they know we had a party on Friday for my birthday, which was very nice. There was no NASCAR. And now everyone anticipates me just all day betting NASCAR, which is what I plan on doing. However, the race is delayed. So I figure I'd just bring people in and have them discuss their best bets. So I got Derek Yoder coming in. Byron outright moving pretty aggressively after the pre-race poll. I see that. I actually think that it actually benefits Byron to go at night. But let's bring on Derek and see what he has to say. Yo, Derek.
What's up, Worm? Got me?
I got you loud and clear.
Good. Well, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, might as well figure just bring on a bunch of people and see what they think about the race. So what's your favorite bet of the day? Do you have one?
My favorite bet of the day was I would say Truex at plus 160 top 5.
Okay. I like Truex. I think he's a top 5 car.
Yep.
I wanna be able to give you a hard time for that, but I can't because I do think that Truex is a top 5 car. And you're getting a plus payout. So
I'm sure you can give me a hard time about something.
Yeah, absolutely. I can always tell who you have because we're in a group message, and whenever you defend somebody and it comes with a long message, it's like, wait, do you have a matchup on this person?
I wanted to explain my side. I want to explain my point versus, having people just say, I agree with that. I want to at least because if it backs up and we're talking about Chastain, I think Chastain will have a better day. And I think something that helps him is that it is a green racetrack. I think part of what you've said is, hey, guys like Reddick Bell, Stenhouse, Gregson, able to run that higher line. Chastain's not going up there. So being able to have the opportunity like a guy like this that we know is going to run better. So I don't really defend too many people all that often, but I had to make sure I did that now with him. But what do you think is going to change here with no rubber on the racetrack?
Well, obviously, you're going to get some more tire wear early in a run. You're going to see faster, probably more grip early. You'll see quicker fall off. That'll be temporary until we start to see, just rubber get laid down. And I think so. It'll be that the first run, I think, might mean less than other first runs that we've seen typically because you're going to see more tire wear. I imagine there'll be a comp caution. I haven't seen anything, but I imagine a comp caution at lap 35 or 25 to 35 would be my guess. But my best bet we gave out with Todd.
I saw this.
Yeah, I think Gibbs is going to be good.
Yeah,
I think Gibbs is a top. I don't know. I think he's a top 6 car, 7 car.
Just needs to finish.
He just hasn't been up there. So ultimately, I think that's kind of that was the best bet on the board, kind of that everyone had public access to. I just think Larson and Truex, Hamlin, Byron, and maybe Reddick are going to be the best cars. So
yeah.
Hey, do any of the boys from Lay and Coin, you guys want to come on?
There you go. Can I throw one more at you and get your opinion?
Yeah. Fire away.
I got Busher plus 100 or even over Kez earlier. You like that?
Okay, so say that again. You have who?
Busher
over
Keselowski. That won
Based
me
on
that
lap times, yes, I think that's a winner. Based on lap times.
they
The
did the
only
same
thing that
thing last
scares
week.
me is I think that Keselowski races better than Buescher in
Mm-hmm.
the long run
Mm-hmm.
if they're in equal cars, but their car might not be. Might not be. I don't know if Buescher looks as good as he does in practice, he beats Keselowski.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
I like
Hey,
that.
which one of the Lay and Coin pot guys are coming on? He said, "Give me 10 to get everything
Oh, that's
set up."
Mark.
I just want to know
That's
who I'm.
Mark.
It's Mark.
Mark.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, I want to have Mark on here and give his best bet. So anyone that wants to come on, I don't care who it is. Anyone, just shoot me a message. I will send you the link, and we'll discuss the best bets. Right now, currently, we have with Derek. Derek, you have Truex top 5 plus 160.
Yep. Yep.
I like that.
I got Bubba top
I think it's a good
10,
number. Bubba top
Chastain over
10.
Blaney, and Bowman over Blaney. So a little bit of a Blaney fade.
A little bit of a Blaney fade. Okay, I like that. I think Blaney did not look that good in practice
Mm-mm.
relative to other Fords that I thought looked stronger than him.
Yep.
So usually you have to kind of. It's crazy how we think about the Fords as grouped together. Like,
Mm-hmm.
well, relative to other Fords, he's not
Mm-hmm.
that good,
Right.
And then, the best Ford, in my opinion, is probably Gregson.
Yeah.
I would say Buescher, second best Ford, but Buescher second best Ford, Buescher best Ford's 8-1. I thought that was a decent price. So,
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting how we're classifying Fords. like you can't
It's
look at them relative to everyone else because they look terrible. You
right.
know,
Yeah, it's a new age for them right now until they get it figured out. I do have a question for you though. Stay
okay,
green related. If you
okay.
could have one person on Stay Green, who would it be and why?
One person on Stay
Like who's
Green,
like your white whale?
like not counting a driver or counting a driver. What's the
Anybody.
goal?
The goal is to like if you could say, "Hey, that is the one person always wanted to talk to on the show," that's who it would be.
Hmm. I mean, I'd probably say Hamlin
Yeah.
because I feel like he'd be honest, and you could ask him questions that maybe he
Yep.
would. I think Hamlin answers questions that most drivers won't.
Oh yeah.
Right. So if you ask them a
Yep.
question that maybe most drivers wouldn't answer. Okay, so I got to send that link to Mark here. I'm gonna Derek, stay on. Obviously, I'll bring you back up. But once I pop Mark on, I'm gonna give him his 20 minutes of,
Yeah.
20 minutes. I'm gonna give him
Boy.
30 seconds of.
There you go.
Let's see. Hang on.
Okay.
And yeah, hang on. I'll probably bring you back up here.
Who makes more laps today before you bring him back on? The Air Titans or Austin Cindric?
Ooh, that's.
There you go.
I mean,
All
if
right,
you were to say like Derek Kraus, I would say maybe
I
the
was
Air
trying to
Titans.
think one of the back
Yeah,
markers. Let's say Austin
I
Hill,
feel
but I
like
like Austin
Cindric.
Hill.
I feel like Cindric will make
Daniel
more
Hemrick
laps
was
than the Air
talked about it.
Titans.
He was talked
Yeah,
about a lot in your show.
yeah. But he qualifies well, which is great. It gives us an
Yeah.
opportunity to fade him. That's all. Hot Pass
Yeah.
podcast. Yeah, Air Titans.
I
Wait,
like it.
he always says Danica Patrick on their pod. Who wants Danica on their pod?
Not me. I mean,
Nah.
maybe, but
I mean, I'd take Danica on the
yeah,
pod.
I was
But
just saying
don't get
that's
me
not a
wrong.
white whale. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Eric is Hot Pass podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Eric, is that Eric?
Yeah, it
Why don't you send me a link or
there you go, Eric.
shoot me a DM? I'll bring you on, Derek. You can tell me your best bets. Now, here's the thing: you better be able to defend your best bets because if I disagree,
There's gonna be good conversation.
I'm not gonna sit here and pop a rainbow in your ass and tell you everything's gonna be okay. Like I'll
I need
tell you the truth. So
I need to start messaging some of these people and saying, "Here's who Chris will put up a fight with you about." So
yeah,
I'm gonna need to
yeah,
start doing that.
exactly. Yeah. Is it working live? Like, can you send? It says can't post comments to some destinations. I'm not seeing any comments from X. Can anyone say like if X you can comment?
Chris, you should be able to see that up top to see if your Xbox
It says it's
is it
correct, but
green?
everyone here is commenting on YouTube. But hey, I sent a link to Skybox. I sent a link to you. There he is. All right, I'm gonna kick you out here, Derek. I'm
Sounds
gonna
good.
pop Mark in. Yo,
Big
yo.
dog.
What up?
What did just living life? Just came from your neck of the woods. Although you might be in Canada.
I am in Canada. Yeah.
Oh, I was
That's where I
out in
live now.
Utah all week.
Oh, out in Utah. Okay.
Yeah, a little
Well,
SLC action.
little SLC. So figured I'd just bring people up and see what their best bets are for today's race. I feel like this is a better pre-race show than what we've got right now. So
I turned it. So I got home like 45 minutes ago, sat on the couch, and they were interviewing Logano with a Coke in his hand that he didn't take a sip out of. And then they went to Cindric, and then they were talking about how Ford was being slow. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn on F1 pre-race. And then just scrolling Twitter, see you guys are live. Hey, let's go. Let's rock.
Yeah. All right. So, okay, let's a couple questions for you. Who's your pick to win?
William Bill Byron.
Billy Byron. Okay. What price do you get him at?
I got him at 10.
Okay.
What's available to me is now 9. What do you think? I'm thinking about adding more. What do you think about, and I'll give you my reason here in a second.
Yeah.
What do you think about him being better live coming from the back? Is there a possibility?
I feel like the more we talk about it, the less, but okay, I do think that you will find when he opened 12, there was a time when I thought that there was a chance that that was going to be the best number we were going to see. He opened at 12 last night, contemplating hitting it. Here's where I think if we're going to look to if we're going to look to Byron, we have to figure out when is Larson going to get to the lead, because I feel like he is going to predicate the odds for everyone else versus just Byron's speed. If Larson gets out there and wins stage 1 by 4.5 seconds, I feel like the next best car is going to be 5 or 6 to 1, whether it's Hamlin, Truex. It doesn't matter who it is. So if Larson gets out there to that lead, I think you could see a number higher than 12 to 1 on Byron. That'd be my take.
And the 3 in front of Larson, he was not light years. He was faster than in practice. And I think, I hope, fingers crossed, that we're going to have multiple grooves. I'm not smart enough to know how long it's going to take for the track to rubber up and how many grooves we're going to have when. I don't think it's going to be very long. So let's say Larson's out to it
instant.
Let's say Larson's out to a 3 or 4 second lead, 20 laps in, Byron's in 23rd. Okay, maybe we get a 14. That was what's going through my head.
Yeah, that's a possibility. But ultimately, if you think that Byron's going to be good, there's nothing wrong with putting part of what you would bet on him out there now. Not at 750. That I don't agree with. But I do think he was really good. And I think if they go at night, I think it actually benefits Byron. If they race into the evening here, I think it benefits Byron. I think there'll be more grip. There'll be less feathering of the throttle, and there'll be more on throttle time. And I think that Byron, that's where he loses a little bit to Hamlin and Larson. I think that straight line speed, or just speed in general, is as good as anybody's in that 24. But where the 11 and 5 have kind of separated themselves, it is that middle of the corner speed. If I have to pick something, like pick Byron apart, if I have to say that he has a weak thing, it would be that. So I think that negates a little bit of that hot, slick, sliding around corner speed that the 11 and the 5 are so good at.
And if I remember correctly, it's like in the high 50s is the temperature, maybe low 60s.
Is it cool?
So okay, that's what maybe that was yesterday. I'll have to look into it, but it's not going to be hot. That's a fact. So yeah, I think that brings Byron well into the equation here. I'm staring at a 9 right now, which I would still consider taking. However, I already have a pretty substantial wager on 10. So I think I'm just going to hope and pray. And if the number's never there, then fine. I'll just ride with what I've got. And if he's at 14, if he's at 12, then that's going to be hit. So
yeah, but let's think
56 degrees in Kansas City.
We're still talking about William Byron. Are you telling me you're hesitant to bet this guy at 8 to 1, even if he's in 15th? You're not.
No.
If he looks
not.
good and he comes on the radio and says, "Hey, my car feels good. I'll be racing for the lead soon." I'm okay betting him at 7-1, maybe even 6.5-1.
The reason why that I'm hesitant to bet the 8 or even 7.5 or whatever it is because I do think that there's a chance to get a good live number. So if, let's say, he was starting 12th and there was a pretty good chance that live number was never going to come, then yeah, absolutely, I would play it now. Because if he's third, 15 laps in, he gets a good start, then that number is now 5. So just the fact that there's an opportunity for a 14 or a 12 is why I'm on Byron, or is why I'm waiting just to add more.
Are you going to be upset if he looks good and you're firing on him again at a higher number? Are you going to be pissed? I feel like you're just like, well, now I'm just more excited about the 24. You're not mad. I understand. No. Listen, you always want the best number. It doesn't matter who you bet. Like I have, I have some Kyle Busch at 22-1. And if Larson gets out there lead and Kyle Busch is running 10th, he could probably get up to 25-1. I'm going to sit there as a pro and go, I could have waited for that 25. But then again, if Kyle Busch picks up a few spots, he's running 4th. Well, then I'm going to feel great about the 25-1. So
that's how good.
It's one of those things where you've taken him at this 9-10-1 price, which I think is warranted for a guy with that kind of speed. And let's just say he gets up to 14-1, but he's done nothing but pick up spots and he feels like he has a good race car. Add. Like, I got no problem with adding. Like, were we afraid of action here? Like, that's definitely not why we're here. So I would be willing to add if we see a price jump. But I do think it will take a Larson getting out to the lead in order for that to happen. I can't see him, his price rising much if Larson doesn't get to lead, or maybe a Hamlin. Bell, I don't think Bell has the car long run. What are your thoughts on Bell today?
I don't think he has the pace. I think he's an incredible qualifier. Zach talked about it this week.
Yep.
He's had so many poles on mile and a half the last 2 years. He's just a really good qualifier. So he can take a 5th to 7th place car and go stick it on the pole, run a heater, I don't know that his pace is going to be there. I think he's the tier below the Larson, Hamlin, Byron, and I would make that Byron, Larson, Hamlin based on best cars today. I think he's in the next tier. I think he's maybe a little below Truex. I think Gibbs is going to be good with pace, and I think both 2311 cars are going to be good. So I would say he's 5th to 7th place car today. Could he use the clean air and be the wheelman that he is and go out there and get out to a 2.5, 3 second lead, 10, 12, 15 laps in? Wouldn't be surprised, but I guarantee you Larson's going to be second hunting him down. So no, I don't. I thought I stared down Bell stage 1 and I'm like, Larson's starting 4th. That ain't worth it.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's part of me wants to just take. It's funny, the conversations I have on race day. It's like, okay, if we take Larson, can you take him without winning any stages? I feel like if you're going to take Larson, you bet Larson stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, like whatever you're going to bet 2 units on him, just split it up to 0.7 units on all of those, because I think he wins 2 of them, but to win the race is really hard. But I think he does win a stage and the race, or 2 stages. So you kind of have to look at it a little differently there. I don't know that you can just bet Larson to win the race at this price.
Was I looking at 2-1 for stage 1, or was it less than
Plus
that?
175.
That was it. So I get your point. It is, I don't want to say easier, but Larson's won a hell of a lot more stages than he's won races. And I wore this hat just for you to make the comment about Larson. That. So, yes, I don't think that's a terrible idea. Obviously, he's probably a little longer for stage 2, maybe like a 260 or 275, probably not a 300, but I don't even know if those are still available. But I see your point and I get it. And I agree, because I feel like in the last couple of years, it's been 3, 4, 5 races where we nickname Larson the choker, and
the bed shitter.
One way to get around it. The bed shitter.
The bed shitter. Yeah.
That's right.
The fact that my wife doesn't watch NASCAR and she still knows Larson is the bed shitter, because I usually come walking out of my office sulking whenever I'm like, well, he was winning with 10 to go and he finished 27th. It's one of those things. So Rain picked up. NASCAR shut down some of the dryers. This is
there you go.
Brutal.
All right.
Ryan,
What's your there? Have you already talked about it?
Have I talked about what?
Your best bet yet?
I mean, I gave a best bet earlier. Hang on, I gotta respond. I'm gonna get some more people live here. I got Greg popping up.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
But yeah, the best bet I gave out was Gibbs minus 130 on Ross. But I'm gonna get Greg in here.
That's good.
But yeah, thanks for popping on, and yeah, happy race day. Do you have a best bet? Do you have one that you like? I know that you have Byron to win. I love the price. That's the best win price out there. I've been saying it for the last 24 hours.
I mean, I have a Chastain top 10. I have a Blaney top 10 pre-practice qualifying. Do not recommend. And I have a Bubba outright small one, 23-11 outright 5-1 that I really liked before practice qualifying. Still like it. I don't think they're in the top 3 cars, but yeah, I scrolled the matchup board. You know, I both love to bet matchups. Just didn't love it. A lot of juice out there. So
there wasn't much, and the screen popped so slowly, like they limped in, gingerly with posting odds and But all right, well, we'll go buddy. Byron. I'm okay with Byron winning. If Byron wins, chances are there'll be a lot of people make money live betting. That's my that'd be my guess. So all right, well, cheers, Marky.
All right, brother. See you. Yes, sir.
Craig, what's going on, man?
What's up? So you guys see what a true degenerate I am. I am out in the shed, and I brought my laptop out here just for y'all.
I love it. Thanks, man. I figure we can do a better pre-race show than TV. So I'm up against Fox. And
no, we absolutely can. I brought it out here. My wife goes, what's going on? You said the race was delayed. And my dad was like, "Oh, it's the pre-race." I'm like, "No, it's not the actual pre-race. It's like because we can do a better job than Fox can do." So it's like this is the guys that I associate with, not the not the jokers who NASCAR is paying tons of money to.
We're the guys that make the $0 doing this. I love that. So who's your pick to win today? Who do you if you had to, I guess you could say regardless of price, or what's the best outright price on the board in your opinion?
Well, so regardless of price, it's Denny, right? I think Denny is my guy, right?
Okay.
He showed decent in practice, and it's just this is a Toyota track, right? This is a Denny track. He seems to just kind of crush this. I don't think I can buy him at 5, which I think is the best I've seen right now.
Yeah.
He slipped as low as 6 earlier today. And I think some folks took him at 6, and I wouldn't have hated it at 6. I just, I can't get there.
Yeah. Do you have access to live bet?
I will today. So that's fun. The funny thing is I'll be watching today, watching or listening today. And normally I record and I watch later with Ryan. And that's been our thing the past couple of weeks is we'll record, and after our kids go down, 8:00, we'll go rewatch it. So I obviously don't have it then, but today I will.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so we might see one. It's so funny. Denny was the most predictable we've ever seen him this week, where he looks good in practice, qualifies terrible here. Like he normally doesn't. So and he knew it. We saw in his interview in qualifying, he was like, well, if I could make the top 10, qualifying, I'd be happy, but he's so nonchalant and I got this. Of course I'm going to run well. So it's hard to argue with Denny. I think it comes down to him and Larson. Larson's practice, in my opinion, was on the radio. It was pretty much speechless. No one said anything other than lap times look good. And then Cliff Daniels said, "Okay, just bring it to us. We don't need to see any more of this." But you see his price reflects that kind of speed. And here's the other thing. I talked about this on the Stay Green podcast with Todd. There's no chance, there's not no chance. I don't think there's no chance of anything, but we all know that Larson's probably going to lead the most laps today, but is he going to win? That's never the issue.
No, you're 100% right. And you guys were just talking about it at the end there, and like, yeah, could we get better prices on folks? Because Larson jumps out to a 5-second lead, and we go, yeah, that's where he's at right now. But we know it's Kyle Larson, right?
Yeah.
And is that still going to open us up some value on some other guys? There are days where he just goes out and he dominates and he finishes, but then there are the days where he goes out and he dominates, and then just like the last 10 laps, he just suddenly falls apart. Like, just can't get it done. It's like, all right, well.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. So, how about this comment from Ryan? One of my few life rules: if someone gives you a bet from a shed, then I will tail no questions asked. Like that should be like, So your pick is Denny. Do you have like a best matchup, or do you have your favorite, top 10 price or something?
Well, so I was looking around, just like see really quickly if I could find something that I thought was still, good and live. And I'll say this, and it is as probably unsexy as it comes, right? Okay. But last I looked, and this was 20 minutes ago, so it might have moved since then, Caesar still had Toyota plus 110. And that is so unsexy. That is so just, I get it, right? But if we go and we look at our practice model over at Win the Race, all right, we weirdly have Kyle Busch as number one. Like, that just weird. But I mean, he had a really good practice. So like, okay, I get it, right? But after that, it's Gibbs, Hamlin, Reddick, Byron, Bubba, Truex, and then Larson. And the Larson thing, again, is like one of those things that I'm like, that's a little bit of a weird outlier. But it's almost because his late laps were bad because they didn't care. Right. And so it throws a little bit of a kink in it.
Yeah. And that's Larson you were talking about?
Was way down there.
Yeah.
He was like 7th in the practice model.
Yeah.
Right. But basically it's just a stack of Toyotas there. This has been a Toyota dominated track. And if I was going to add, like, I'll be like upfront, like, I'm not betting this myself right now because I've already got 23-11 at 6-1. I've already got Denny top 3 at plus 180. I don't feel a need to really add any more on that market. But if I was starting from scratch right now, I'd probably take Toyota at plus 110, as unsexy as that is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like because you also throw in, let's just say there's a caution with 6 to go, to your point. You're going to want guys like Ty Gibbs. I mean, he's going to be running in the top 5, Bubba, I don't think he has, I'm not saying he's I don't think Bubba's a top 10 car, but if he's running 12th and people decide to stay out, or he decides to stay out, like, Toyotas have enough speed out front to hold off anybody. So I guess that would be the steel man of your argument. The only downside, I guess, would be just Larson and Byron.
Yeah.
Right. That's who you're competing with right there, is those two guys. Kyle Busch is good, though.
Yeah. I mean, Kyle Busch could come out and could do it. And there's no doubt about that. Certainly on the intermediates, he's been a heck of a lot stronger this year. I mean, the RCR as a whole has been actually decent in the intermediate package as opposed to
the short. Yeah.
Whatever they're bringing on the short tracks. I mean, we saw it last week. He couldn't hold it from the pole, but he still, was in the mix. And if you had something happen late, last week, who knows? Maybe Kyle Busch could have snuck one out there. He's certainly, no slouch here. So, yeah, I mean, I think the real two that you're betting against with that are Larson and Byron. And you just have to say, like, do I think that it's better than a coin flip that Toyota wins? Yeah, I think it's better than a coin flip that Toyota wins. And that's, give me plus 110. If I was starting from scratch today, that's where I'd go. Unfortunately, all the group bets that we had got cooked. We both, early on, that Gregson value, man, those days are gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if we're ever going to see that kind of value again with him. He's showing up finally. So,
I mean, Yeah, I agree. I think Gregson looked good. Like I said, I'm not going to get my hopes too much up with him. I have a lot on him to win the race. Ryan says they're about to go lights out in Miami. Who cares? Let's see. Terror on restarts. Big Ross says we better not get. And then ATF Media says we better not get robbed of the pre-race bullshit and 100 pre-race pace laps as usual. That's where the action is. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I think if we were at one of the short ovals, we'd be in trouble. I mean, I think we would.
Yeah.
I mean, on the flip side, kudos to, NASCAR for, bringing those tires to get us some racing in, when we're going. But I think they got to be a little bit more judicious about how we're going to use those wet tires to make sure that we're not just logging laps, right? That
yeah, why would you I hate the idea of the cars drying the track. Let the track dryers dry the track, especially
how much money have we invested in those things, right? The Air Titans. I mean, how much money went into developing those things, right? Let's use them. Let them do their job.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I don't see any I don't know. You want the race to start, but then again, how long is stage one anyway? Do we I guess I haven't really looked because I didn't think there were any stage one value. There was any stage one.
No, I didn't see any. Let me look real quick. I got it, and then I'm gonna have to duck out so that I can do it. But let me pull it up here. I thought I had it. Okay, gosh, it's just not cooperating with me.
I'm pretty sure.
Stage one is 80. So it's
80 for stage one. Yeah, that would be. Yeah, so 80 for stage one. Gosh, you hope that they don't you want most of that to be green, if you get a chance. Why would you I don't want the race to start under yellow flag conditions. I feel like you have the track dryers for a reason. You have lights there. There's no reason to get it going. So hey, well, thanks for coming on. I'm gonna pull up Spider now, but thanks for coming on. And yeah, you have Hamlin today, right? That's your
he'd be my pick. I wouldn't bet him at 5, but yeah, he's my pick to win.
He's your pick to win, but you don't like his number. Okay, perfect.
I don't like his number, not at 5.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks a lot, Greg.
All right, man.
See ya. Spider, what's going on, dog?
Thanks so much for having me on. Long time coming, so pumped to be here. And I love what I was listening to the show on the way over here. So stuck in traffic, and I loved where everyone's head at. I actually like Greg's pick about Toyota as well. I mirror everything he says. It's not sexy, but that's probably the safe play today. Outside of that, I'm just getting right into it with picks. Sorry, Worm.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I love it.
Outside of it, you could probably guess who I'm taking. Other than that, I like William Byron. I think I heard what you guys were saying about his price, and honestly, I'm content taking him at 7.5 to 1. Pretty much any given Sunday. To me, he's proven that he can do it at all sorts of different tracks. And yeah, I don't know. To me, that's a much more better pick than what is Larson right now, plus 65. Yeah, that to me. I mean, I think the 2311 cars are going to be the ones that I'm watching, which is why I do like Toyota as the manufacturer that wins this race. But even I don't know if it was Greg or someone else before him, maybe Skybox, that mentioned Denny at 5 to 1 just being not the most desirable, at least for me. I don't know how you feel about that number, but to me, I could not get behind that.
Yeah, it all depends on whether you're live betting or not. If you're not live betting, you better have Hamlin on your card. If you're not live betting, because he's gonna be good. He typically struggles early. Here's the thing: if you were to put odds on who's gonna lead more laps, Larson versus Hamlin, I would make Larson a minus 275 favorite to lead laps. But then I would also take Hamlin to beat Larson at the end of the race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Larson goes out there and leads all these laps. Hamlin just kind of riding around in 3rd or 4th. Last pit stop, they take a chance. He gets a lead, and Hamlin doesn't give up the lead. He fucking wins. That's what Hamlin does.
Right.
Hamlin cashes tickets. I tweeted that one time, and everyone hated on it, but that's the deal. You bet Denny Hamlin, you have a chance at winning the race, or you can just tear up your ticket. I don't like to bet him in matchups because it's either checkers or wreckers for Denny.
Right. He's very much feast or famine.
Yeah. If he has a chance to win, even if he says it's a 50-50 chance like he did at Texas when it was probably realistically a 10% chance, you still want the guy, if you bet him to win the race, you want him to take that chance. Like second pays nothing. So
Absolutely.
I think if you're taking if you can't live bet, I think you have to have Hamlin in your card. He looked good in practice, and he doesn't ever look that good in practice. But the Larson's going to be strong. I do think that the best price out there, I've said it, for the last 24 hours, has been Byron. He reopened 12. And I think that if this race moves into the night, I do think that there's a better chance of this benefiting Byron versus Larson. So, and how long is it going to take? Let's be honest. Byron's starting 36. He's going to take no time to pass Justin Haley, Austin Hill, Daniel Hemrick, Ryan Preece, Harrison Burton, Brad Keselowski might move up a little bit, but John Hunter Nemechek, Corey LaJoie, Daniel Suarez, Ryan Blaney wasn't that good. Todd Gilliland. I mean, he's in the top 25 in 8 laps, right? So all of a sudden but you spend a lot of time back with the squirrels, you're going to get your nuts busted. I mean, this has been a common theme back with this car.
Yeah, it's true. I like that expression.
You're dead. So, what's your best bet? I see. So you have your win bet is,
Byron's like my value bet. If I'm going to give an outright, it would be Byron. Outside of him, I do like Tyler Reddick, but again, he's another guy with the price that I'm not super sold on, especially. And I've been super critical of 23XI this year, despite them bucking the trend of it being Gibbs or Hendrick winning every week. It's them in Trackhouse, so they do deserve some credit. But my point is, I've been very skeptical, hesitant, critical of what I've seen on pit road with the 23XI cars, particularly Tyler Reddick. So I'm a little bit skeptical of that. Whereas, like I said, William Byron just feels like a safer, more well-polished bet. I know this is about this race in particular that's coming today, but in terms of futures, I still like Byron to lift the cup at the end of the season. Yeah. And I think that any given week, he's pretty much a safe bet. Tyler Reddick, I'm intrigued by as well. The 45 car has been interesting at Kansas. 3 different winners to win in that 45 car. So it'd be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see if Tyler Reddick can get it done again. But I've been really intrigued and bullish on what I've seen, as much as I just shat on their pit crew. The momentum is a real thing. So, I don't know. I think if they can build on that and parlay that into some good success, especially with Denny running up front, who's to say he doesn't, look out for his fellow teammates should they be there beside him. I don't have any, hot tips or anything, but who's to say Denny doesn't get on someone's bumper, give him a little push, whatever he made it to do, some blocking maybe. But yeah, for the team. I didn't see 23XI to win the race on DraftKings, which I might have considered. So I just took Toyota. I think get the whole Toyotas and including Denny. As Greg said, probably a safe bet. And then outside of that, if I'm going to get greedy, it's going to be Byron. But I'll tell you what. We do our show on Tuesday. Check out Rubbin' His Racing, the #1 NASCAR pod show for new NASCAR fans. And basically, we have to give our picks on Tuesday. The show drops on Thursday. I gave Byron on Tuesday. I think he was 11, 12, 10 to 1, somewhere in that range. This morning, when I went to lock the bet, because I typically wait and see, I do ride with the guys that I give on Tuesday. But I'm saying I handicap the rest of the week and build off that. So I locked Byron, and then this morning when I didn't lock Byron, excuse me. This morning when I went to lock him, I saw he was 7.5 to 1. So I parlayed him, and I need your take on this for me.
You parlayed him?
I parlayed him with Max Verstappen.
Okay. Okay. So you parlayed him with a sure thing.
With apparently. A -800. I think it moved the odds from. Let's see. I'll tell you right now.
How much that helped your payout.
It's probably, as someone who does this professionally as a living, it's probably the stupidest thing you've ever heard. But I've got William Byron and Max Verstappen plus 856 on DraftKings. #DK partner. I think they're both cream of the crop in their respective series. So I think they'll show out today. I mean, Byron, like I said, he's kind of like an outside, not an outsider.
No, I think you're preaching to the choir. I called William Byron the next Jimmy Johnson. So ever since then, he's had some terrible finishes, and I've kind of eaten a little crow since then. But I think he's the closest thing we've seen to Jimmy Johnson now. Since then, he's struggled a little bit, but once he takes control of a race, he doesn't lose it. So it's okay, it's a matter of time. The whole day, or Truex is going to be going around him. It'll be interesting to see. Let's see. Big Ross said, "How does night racing change your handicap?" I would say it just takes me a little less sure. I just become, after looking at, okay, a day race, we saw practice during the day, late afternoon. Now I'm just a little less sure. And what I do think it rewards is it's just fast race cars. Who's been fast? And William Byron fits that. I mean, William Byron's been fast everywhere we go. The later in the day that this race gets run, the more I like William Byron. Now, I think it hurts guys like Larson who want it hot and slick, which everything that hurts Kyle Larson, by the way, helps everyone else, because there's a chance he could go out here and lead, 225 laps or lead almost all the laps. So, although I am kind of a Larson apologist, I do think guys like Martin Truex Jr. will look good, which fits nicely into that Toyota bet. But like I've said earlier, if Noah Gragson wins, I'm streaking across Canada. So, I nabbed that price at 200 to 1 early in the week. Didn't think he'd qualify third. I have him top 10, and I have him in a group bet. So,
I got a follow up off that, Worm.
Yeah.
Forgive me, I forgot the gentleman who asked that question's name. But I guess, how would you see this race or the handicapping changing should it be ran on Monday? God forbid. Because I'll tell you what, if this is pushed to tomorrow, God forbid, I'm not hoping that. I'm just saying I will be placing a large wager on Martin Truex #Monday Martin, which leads me to my other follow up. The rest of Joe Gibbs, not named Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs, Truex, Chris Bell, who's on the pole, and the Yahoo car who has not been kind to him.
Yeah. Okay. So if it races on Monday, I don't think I'm smart enough to predict how Monday changes anything. Ultimately, I would still stick with, it depends on when it starts. If it starts in the temperatures, I don't even know what the weather looks like tomorrow. Ultimately, I would probably trust the practice from yesterday more if they race tomorrow versus tonight. And I think when it comes to the next best car, not Hamlin, oh gosh, I'm going to put Truex over Tyler Reddick in that Toyota camp. I think Truex looks really good now.
That's a big discrepancy in odds.
I know. I think Truex is going to be strong. Remember when he was here in the fall, he ran over something on pit road in like the warm-up laps. And that's why he ended up on the 5th lap. He ended up hitting the wall. So we don't have any like data from him last fall. I thought he was going to be a lot better. So I think Truex is going to be the second best Toyota. Man, this come back to bite me in the ass. Because I do think here's the other thing too, though. If the top line comes in, there's 4 guys. I said 3. I'm going to change it to 4. You have Larson's the best on the top, then Reddick. I was going to say Gregson's probably next back, but I will go to Bell. I will say Bell. So if someone finds more speed, let's just say there's more speed the closer you get to the wall, I think those 4 guys would set themselves apart as the best drivers. But I do think that the wall becomes less important the later in the day, because hot or like the cooler it is, the more grip there is, you're more likely to be right along that bottom. So I don't know. Either way, I'm kind of excited. You got a high noon or anything?
I'm not drinking yet. I had a pretty eventful weekend last night. Credit to PFT, who invited me over for the Kentucky Derby party. We had a great time at the cookout, but still a little banged up in recovering. But
you got to drink.
I think you're right. A little hair of the dog, but no, this is shaping up to be a beautiful Sunday. I see the F1 race just teed off. Memes. Does that say Max Verstappen leads? I think Verstappen holds the lead already, which is looking good for our parlay. Yeah, who would have guessed? Never saw that coming. And then also, I mean, as much as while you were answering the 10 questions I threw at you, I pulled up the Kansas forecast, Kansas Speedway. It looks like it's only rain is expected for the next hour. So with the lights at Kansas, hopefully they can get the track dry in time to have this race on for prime time this evening. We can get some Sunday NASCAR. That would be great. Some Sunday night NASCAR would be phenomenal.
Perfect.
So,
all right. Anything else you want to pitch while you're on here? I appreciate you coming on.
No, that's all. Just I would say tune in to Rubbin' Is Racing for more asinine gambling picks and outside the box winners. We've actually sneaky, I feel like, had some pretty good luck this year. As much as it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. Which I'll ride that high as long as possible.
I love chirping you and Large. You know, you always give your picks out, and I like to rate your picks. So
yeah, I like to see what the feedback is. So please keep the report card coming. Yeah. And thank you so much for having me on. Hopefully, between one of us, someone has a good day.
Someone's gonna have a winner. That's the deal.
Someone has to. Yeah.
There's always someone that wins. So don't get down if, by the way, you don't have it, because the next week it could be you tweeting out how great your picks are. So thanks for coming on, Spider. I appreciate it. Check out Robin. That launches every Wednesday?
Every Thursday morning it drops.
Thursday morning?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Thanks, Worm. I appreciate you having me on.
Yep. Take it easy, Spider.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. See ya. All right. Thanks, Spider, to coming on. I got Eric coming up, fellow Canadian. I mean, I say this like I'm a Canadian, but definitely not a Canadian. I just live here. But yeah, I want to introduce Eric here. Let him talk a little bit about what he's doing from a podcast perspective, and then get his information as to who he thinks is, could potentially win today. So, Eric, welcome to the show.
Can you hear me?
I got you. Yeah, loud and clear. Yeah, you're good to go.
Welcome to Canada. That's all I got to say. Welcome.
Thanks.
Have you had all dressed chips? Have you had the ketchup, Aero bars?
Yeah.
Molson Canadian.
Oh, yeah. Well,
are you enjoying the price of beer in Canada as well?
No.
It's disgusting, isn't it?
It's a joke. A lot of people don't understand how much alcohol costs here, especially coming from the States. But I mean, I got a bar right down the street, the local bar that I go to. I live in Squamish. And I
walk. It's a nice place.
It's a great spot. Yeah. But for me to get a 16-ounce beer, it's after tip. It's $12.
You just said that, you need to check yourself at the door. Okay, it's milliliters. Okay.
Oh yeah. 16 ounce. Yeah. Whatever. I just get a pint of beer. It cost me a fortune. Hey. It's funny, talking to people. Just everything's more expensive. Or everything that you buy in the States is more expensive in Canada. Yeah. It's like you don't know how much your alcohol costs. Like it is. So to support a drinking habit, you better make a lot of money.
Oh, dude, my brother was an alcoholic for a couple of years, and I'm like, how are you still being able to afford your life? It's if nobody knows that doesn't come to Canada very often, for a case like a 2-4 of bottles for Molson Canadian or any generic beer is almost about $50. It's extremely expensive. And I live in Ontario, so if I want to have fun, even if I go down to the States, if I want to pull $200 Canadian or US out, it costs me $250. Roughly.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's
I just got a message that Truex is 16-1 at Bovada.
Who the? Oh, Hammer. I'm sorry, Hammer.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not play that? It moves? If it moves before I get there, I'm gonna be so pissed.
Also, I gotta say, this is my YouTube debut for being on live.
So yeah, hey, you're doing great.
Oh, I'm a character, let me tell you. If you haven't,
just ask you.
Sees me at tracks, I'm a character.
Truex at 16.
That's a great number.
Whoa, I can get a lot down too. Holy!
I see. I can't get Bovada here. I don't know in Ontario. So I see some numbers that people get on Bovada, and I'm like, so are you? How do you get that? I've always wondered. Is there is it an app? Or are you online?
I mean,
are you got?
I don't know if this is gonna screw me betting. But
give me your secrets.
Well, I mean, I have a U.S. account, but they let me bet on here.
Really interesting.
Yeah,
okay,
so
Bovada is secret.
It's Bodog in Canada, but I can say that I'm outside the country. Okay. Yeah, that's that's a good bet, and they let me bet
amazing.
A lot of money
I took them on earlier on in the week. I'm like, we saw them last year. Not the best performances. Obviously, you said before with Spider. Love Spider. Shouts out to him, the little fella. Yep. And I'm like, okay, so he ran over something, blows a tire. I think he's secretly good, and I think he's pissed off about obviously losing that race a couple weeks ago. I like Angry Truex, man. I got him 8.5 to 1, and I'm pissed because then he qualifies bad.
Yeah.
But whatever, I'll still ride with it. I don't care. 16-1 is beautiful.
16's that's a great price. I don't
I
wasn't anticipating, and he's still 16-1, by the way. Hang on. We have to work here for a second while we're on, because I can't I want to make sure
Well, I could tell him about like one of my favorite bets. Like I've been recently hitting Bet 365 over the last couple of weeks. I had a little bit of a grudge match with Betway. They always had a tough time. Like I'll bet, like they'll come up with these insane top 10 odds. A couple of weeks ago, they had like plus 1,000 for a Chase Briscoe top 10, plus 500, or it was something crazy, like plus 3,000 for like a Denny Hamlin top 10. So I hammered these crazy numbers. And then they decided to just give me all my money back and then adjust the numbers. So then they banned my account then later. And after complaining on social media about them. So anyways, I download Bet365 and now I got a lot of good stage matchups. So stage 1 matchups have been my
what do you got?
Cream of the crop. Christopher Bell over Ross Chastain.
Okay.
I
don't like Ross today. I really don't. I know there's some people out there that do. I'm not a Ross guy today.
And I bet him early on in the week thinking I saw him at Vegas. That pit penalty really hurt him. And I'm a big Ross fan. I love Ross. I've met him. Super nice guy. But like, I don't know what's going on with Trackhouse. I'm also a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. So I like going through highs and lows.
Oh, yeah. So you okay? You all right? You a Canucks fan now?
I have a future on them at 35-1.
Ooh, okay.
So I took back in December, and I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried because the Oilers.
If they get Demko back, they
get oh, buddy,
could be good. But I mean, you're playing like if they give Edmonton power plays, we're in big trouble.
Yeah, because McDavid, as growing up in Canada, you're just learning.
Yeah. I'm just learning. I'm a newbie. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you see McDavid, and it's like if I'm a defenseman, I'm backing up, and I got to turn around. McDavid's already gone.
Yeah.
Like if I got to turn on skates real quick, it's over. So it's just so I got a future on that. But like Chastain and my Toronto Maple Leafs, it's like that. You all of a sudden, oh, you're so good, and then all of a sudden you just burn in hell at the end of the year. And when Chastain's low, he's low. Like he sucks.
Yep.
So I really don't think after seeing the speed and somehow he puts a magical qualifying lap, I don't think he's good. I think Toyotas are going to.
Yeah, it was kind of magical. Like that's a great word to describe it.
There's no fucking way he just did that. And I'm just sweating a Seabell pull. And I went, you got to be shitting me right now, dude.
I couldn't believe it. I was kind of shocked because he punts during qualifying. Like he's normally like, you know what, just give me a top 15 spot. I will make up my way. I'll kind of make my way on restarts. And then to qualify where he did, I was like, whoa.
See, and then that's what kind of scares me, right? Because he did it at Nashville where all of a sudden he just gets the pull and then I cashed a bag on him. And it's like, that's the only downside about him is, there's two. He's really way too aggressive at times. And then he, in my opinion, his qualifying sets him back a lot.
Yeah, but I'll say this: I have the Nashville practice up in front of me. Like I just pulled it up because you said that. Like he qualified well at Nashville. He looked way better in practice than he did. So that's like a barometer. Like to be able to look up practices. Chastain looked freaking awesome in Nashville. Okay. He did not look awesome.
You know what? I do remember that now because I remember going, like I think I had him like, I don't know, 16 or 17-1. And I'm like, I feel great. This is a good day for me.
Yeah.
Because I just saw him in practice.
It was. I mean, it was a great, I was actually at that race. It was kind of hot as hell, but so you have a couple of stage 1 matchups.
Yeah. Then I've got Hamlin over Truex. I think that's going to be a hell of a battle, but I think I saw Hamlin.
What price did you get?
Minus 130. I don't really like it.
130.
But I hammered it.
Here's the thing. This is my take. I think Hamlin beats Truex. So, but like the way you have to look at it is I think Hamlin beats Truex, but I like the 16-1 price that we just got on Truex. I don't expect that to win, but you kind of have to take it, right? Like
you kind of have to, yeah.
Like, so I do think that there's potential upside on Truex if he just goes out there and dominate, like, because he could go out there and lead laps and win the race. Like, we all know that. But I do think if you were to take and run this race 1,000 simulations, I do think that Denny Hamlin probably beats him 65 or 70% of the time.
And I just need it for stage 1.
Fine.
And that's the best part. I only need him for stage 1, right? So it's
stage 1.
Denny could get to the front. He works traffic really well. And then Truex gets a little hiccups. Maybe he might get a little stuck. But yeah, usually about 95% of the time, he's probably going to beat Truex. And I only need him for stage 1.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it'll be interesting. I just hope Chastain falls off a bridge today. I'm not going to lie. I've got him 20-1, but still fall off a bridge.
I think he's gonna. Like, that's what I have to say. I think he's gonna. Big Ross brought up a point.
Yeah.
Speaking of past practices, Denny's practice this year was significantly better than his practice last fall. Yes, by a lot. I think that this by a lot. I think that Denny looked as good as he's ever looked in practice in the Cup Series. Like, in the last 10 years, he's looked as good as anybody. So that is a little concerning for someone that doesn't. I don't have Denny in the outright market yet. I'm hoping to get him live. If I don't get him, then I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for too. I think you have to take him.
But he looks that good. Is Denny going to just drive? Is this one of those things where Denny drives to the lead and then just says goodnight? I just don't think Denny does that. Denny just kind of, let me see what I have. It's just not his style.
He feels it out, dude. He feels it out like every time. And then the third stage, and then we're all have hope for everybody else to win. Like, I had Alex Bowman at Dover. I went, we're having a good time. Oh, and Denny squishes him out. And then I'm like, oh, great. It's a Denny show. Yeah. And I have a Denny hat on. I'm not saying I'm a fan. I'm not like Mark from Skybox.
Oh, yeah.
I saw him and Denny at Talladega. They were in a trough together, and they were staring at each other's wieners and looking in each other's eyes. Yeah. And they fell in love. And I think that's what happened. I know maybe I need that experience with Denny.
Yeah, maybe you do.
Maybe I do. Maybe I'll be wearing a whole Denny t-shirt. Yeah. Denny butt plug, whatever. You got to do what you got to do, but I'm not Mark.
Yeah, I know.
Living in Florida, but
so where can people find your show? You have a podcast. Tell everyone where they can find you.
It's on YouTube. It's Hot Pass Podcast, and then the Hot Pass Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. I post it every Monday and Friday morning. I do a Friday morning betting show. And if you guys want any if you're wondering who am I, who's this guy, who's this tattooed guy from Canada? Yeah, I'm pretty good. I hit Sam Mayer and smacked the shit out of him at Texas. That was a hell of a sweat.
He won by 100 miles in that race. So yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe we're splitting though. Oh, shit. The Hot Pass Podcast and at Furlong Eric _ on social media. And I want to toss one last bet out before I go.
Okay.
Noah Gragson over Chase Briscoe on Bet Rivers. What
price is that?
Sorry, -124.
Yeah, I think he kicks the shit out of him.
Yeah, I hammered the shit out of that. I think Noah Gragson and Blaney are carrying the Ford torch.
Yeah,
and
Gregson's carrying the Ford torch, man. Who else are you going to take other than Gregson? Like, he's guy in the Ford camp.
Can I ask you this question real quick before I go? When they're talking about Stewart-Haas Racing and their 4 charters, and they're possibly getting rid of 2. Obviously, Ryan Preece is gone. I'm sorry, Ryan, but you're gone.
Yeah.
Now, we just signed Josh Berry to the 4. You're not getting rid of the 4. I don't know his contract. Then you have Noah Gragson. He's not going anywhere. Is it between Chase Briscoe and Josh Berry? Who do you think's going? That's very interesting. I've had some thoughts about this, and I have no freaking clue.
I mean, if I had... I would say Josh Berry has more upside. I feel like we've kind of seen everything out of Briscoe that we can see. He's won races. Like, if you're in a car that can win races, and then all of a sudden you fall off, and he's fallen off while Gregson's made a name for himself. So I would say
immediately too. Immediately.
Yeah, I agree. I would say you got to be out with Briscoe. You got to give Berry more of a shot, in my opinion. That's just me.
Exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, you just signed him. You got to give him a shot. Doesn't mean Briscoe's totally done forever.
Right.
But, man, I think that's one I just thought. Also, are they getting rid of Camaro after this year because the Camaro's gone? Nobody's talking about this. We're going to have you on the podcast. We're going to discuss.
Yeah, have me on. Yeah, I'll come on anytime.
Podcast. Yeah. If you guys are into vintage NASCAR t-shirts like I got, hailing the legend himself, Dale Sr., tattoos and betting on NASCAR, that's the place to be.
Perfect.
I may be biased, but that's the place to
be. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. I don't know. When is this race going to go? Have you seen anything on
Let me check here. Let me see what
golf now.
Mr. Bob's talking about, because Bob Pockris, because he was a little sweaty at Talladega when I met him on the Boulevard Friday night.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude.
Sweaty like
Riley. Dude, he came by. My brother goes, "That's Bob Pockris." I go, "Hey, Bob." Bob must have had some boobies in his face. A couple shots, maybe. I don't know what he was doing, but he was drenched. I'll send you a photo. He was drenched in sweat, and he's like, "Who am I choosing?" And he said, then I don't know what the fuck he said. I was pretty hammered too, but he was a sweaty boy that day.
So rumor has it the race will go at 7 p.m. East. Ooh,
who said that?
A lot of time. That's just what Derek said. He's usually pretty good about.
Derek's all right. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, Derek's all right. Yeah, he knows.
I like his goggles. Those were nice goggles.
Those were good goggles. Yeah, he's trying to block the blue light. I respect that.
Is that what those are for?
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I have some too. I just don't wear them usually when I'm, in public. Hey. But Derek, why don't you actually hop back on? I'll bring you up if you're still watching.
Yeah, message me if you want to just fill some time. I'm just hanging out. I don't even want to watch F1 because it's trash.
No, I'm not watching F1. Is anyone really watching F1 like that? No.
My Canadian, all the Canadians love F1, and this is why the Hot Pass podcast is here for Canada. Fucking bring a race to Canada. What are we doing?
I know. Well, here's where I think that Canada should bring a race. I think it should be Calgary. I mean, I don't even live in Calgary, but I actually do think that they would get people there.
Well, and it's a very blue collar province, right? It's a very blue collar province.
Do it the same week as Stampede. Do it the week of Stampede. You'd crush.
There's so many options. I even say at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, I understand that we have a lot of road courses, but if you get rid of Chicago and bring it back to where the trucks used to race at Canadian Tire at Mosport, I think that would be great. It's just outside of Toronto. Get all the hip vintage kids freaking wearing their shit or whatever from Toronto. Let's take some selfies. Hey, that's money for us.
No, I want a high tire wear, progressive banked Homestead 2.0 outside of Calgary. That's what I want.
But I don't know if there's tracks.
No, there's not. We have to build it. I'm going to build it by hand. That's what's going to happen. I'm going to go through with a shovel.
All right, I'm coming.
Yeah. We'll just go build it ourselves.
I'll streak all the way there too.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, you got to give me your address because if Gregson wins, I'm going to run to your house tonight.
Oh, and we'll just be
naked,
shaking winners out in the street.
Yep, that's what's going to happen if Gregson wins. All right, cheers, Eric. Thanks for popping on, man.
See you, buddy.
See ya. All right, we're back. Oh, you want to put your goggles on or?
Yeah, I just got made fun of, I feel like, for that. I get headaches. Sundays are like the day where I'm looking at my phone, I'm looking at the computer the most, and it's like,
I know.
But I got them right here if I need them.
There they are.
My eyes. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have mine too. They're right here.
Oh, those aren't the nerdy ones.
The
red ones.
Aren't the really
I like the red ones.
Yeah, the red ones are really nerdy.
I like the red ones. So come for bets and then listen to how you're going to build a racetrack. Is that what this is now?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to build a racetrack by hand. That's usually the best kind of racetrack.
Yeah. Have your hands ever put anything together?
No.
So this is gonna be great.
I'm pretty sure I'll get a manicure this week.
I don't know.
After mowing the lawn. Yeah,
probably serious.
Manual labor is a joke. Yeah. I can't do that. So I don't know. So what do we think? Well, we're gonna go green at 7 Eastern.
Rumored. Well, it's rumored. I mean, the storm system literally just went up and sat over Kansas Speedway. Hasn't really moved much. It was supposed to. I mean, waking up this morning, there wasn't supposed to really be anything. I know there were rumors earlier in the week, but now the storm system literally just sat. So they need an hour to dry the track. 7 o'clock Eastern.
Still raining. Is that where?
Still raining. Still raining.
Okay.
But it's a little bit lighter than it was maybe an hour ago when you started the show.
Okay.
But if I hear anything as to when, I'll make sure to say it. So what?
Someone just said this stream is like the Hall of Fame of NASCAR bettors.
Oh,
is that even a thing?
We should make it a thing. It's not a thing. I'll tell you this much. There have been more guests on this show than there have been available markets this week in any sports book. So we're already off to a better start.
We've had more people. Yeah. So if anyone wants to chime in, I'd be happy to have you on. We got nothing else going on. So far, we've had Derek, you've been on. We've had Spider from Barstool. We had Eric from the Hot Pass podcast. Brian, why don't you come on, Brian? What are you doing? You're not doing shit. I know you're
Skybox.
I had Skybox on. He's usually pretty forgettable, but ultimately we had him on.
True.
So what did we learn? There's gotta be some other people that want to come on. And what about Big Ross? Do you have a computer, Big Ross? Why don't you come on and show your little face?
Do you have a computer? I hope he has a computer.
Yeah.
So what did we learn? Did we learn anything besides Truex 16-1? That was like the best thing that maybe came out of the conversation. Yeah. Yeah.
Truex
still going?
16? That's a problem. For there's no way it's still 6. He's still 16.
There you go.
Everyone go bet Martin Truex Jr. 16-1 on Bovada. Let's get this line to move. This is a joke.
It's your gift to everybody on your birthday. There you go.
I don't get this. Do I have to hit this again? Like, how much do I have to bet on Martin Truex Jr.?
Hit it again.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, do it. I like it.
Done. All right.
So that's the cool thing too. You're like able to look at, because I know you have everything and how you have your data, but you're able to go back and look at who was good at practice qualifying, whatever race it is, whatever year. Do you go past Generation 7, or do you look at any of that stuff anymore? No. That's what I thought. Yeah.
No.
I was asking that for everybody else, not so much for me. Relax.
There's just not. It doesn't. Yeah. No, I don't. I think that track history matters on certain tracks. Like you could go back and say, well, they've been really historically good at Martinsville. Yes, that matters. They've been historically good at Homestead. That matters. I'm beginning to think, or Darlington, that matters. I'm beginning to think that I really do think that Kansas is becoming one of the great tracks. I think it's not Darlington. It's not Homestead.
Okay.
But it's right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
I mean, it offers everything. I mean, there's no out of bounds. You can go anywhere. Guys get runs. Guys got to find multiple grooves. It's unfortunate that NASCAR doesn't send all 3 series to the track where NASCAR owns this track. So would have liked to have seen Xfinity. I think everybody would have anyways. But I think having a night race is, I mean, you remember when we used to have night races every year here in May back in those days. So we're going to get that, I think. They'll go green, I think, right before it starts 10 o'clock. I think that's what Bob just said was the latest anyways. But what I'm hearing is 7 o'clock Eastern is kind of the projected go time. Get the track drive, TV, switch everything over, good to go. So that'll be
10 o'clock Eastern?
I said 7.
Oh, okay.
7.
I thought you said
10 o'clock. 10 o'clock would be like the cutoff.
Okay, the latest.
That's what Bob said. Start. Yeah.
Dude, I will not make it to the end of the race. Like
you have
hanging
to.
on by a thread. Like I need
you need the live stream
so I can relax and not just keep pounding drinks.
You need the live stream if we're going at 10 o'clock Eastern. All right, guys, here's what I'm looking at.
I can't believe that. So Larson's 2-1. Let's just break down this Bovada.
Okay.
Larson's 2, Hamlin plus 450.
Yep.
Reddick 6, Byron 9, Bell 10, Kyle 14, Gibbs 14. Chase 16, Truex 16.
Yeah.
What the hell? That makes no sense. Truex should not be 16-1.
All right. So then follow up with that. Like, what is his top 5 price? What is some of those things? Because 2-1 was the best that we were seeing, or just about that. I mean, what is he even to do that? What is Bet Rivers?
Only the outright markets that's been affected.
Oh,
He's
okay.
plus 150, top 5. So you got a better number already.
You got a bet. Yeah.
Plus 160.
Yeah. So
top Toyota plus 550. I don't like that as much. My wife's calling me.
She want to come on next. Is that what?
I think she might be home actually. You can come in here, babe, if you want to.
So she was.
I got a couple people.
Okay.
Hang on. Let me see if I can. I'm gonna get Highline betting in here in a minute. But his only his outright market that's actually best you got was plus 160. Connor, I don't think you're gonna do better than that. You're gonna hammer Hamlin live if he gets over 10-1. Well, good job, Troy. You and everyone else. Truex number makes 0 sense. Think it moved because Byron Reddick numbers got destroyed this morning. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So far, I mean. Hang on, let me get this. I want to. But yeah, this has been pretty fun. At least I hoping this is a better pre-race show than what everyone else is getting. That's the plan.
I think it is, and I think your viewership is pretty high, so can't complain with that.
I mean, it's whoops. What did I just do?
Uh-oh.
Cancel. Whoops, wrong button. Here we go. Sorry, I'm not. The fact I have to run all my own stuff is a joke. I'm not capable of these things.
I would love to be in your brain for a minute and just see how hazy everything's kind of looking right now.
How foggy it's getting.
Yeah.
I mean, all of the stuff that I've said today, eventually it's going to be, worthless. Enough drinks and those be like, well, he doesn't have any idea what's going on now.
I mean, when we started talking 5 hours ago, so we
I know.
haven't even seen a
the
lap
first
yet.
conversation we had was over 5 hours ago, wasn't it?
Noon, almost 5, but you were coming in dancing.
Yeah.
When you went live, I showed the girls that as that was happening, and they were laughing with you, not at you.
Yeah,
Maybe
right.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So you're sticking with your Truex top 5 plus 160 is the best bet.
Yeah.
Did you have a pick to win?
I mean, no, not yet. I want to see when we're racing and what conditions we're racing in.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I'm going to sit on the
How does that
sideline
change what you're thinking? Like from a outright perspective, let's just say
I actually think Fords will probably be a little faster tonight. Cooler conditions. We saw that at Charlotte last year. I'm kind of, I've been anti-Ford coming in. I'm obviously fading Blaney in a few different things, but the cooler conditions and are kind of having me a little worried that maybe Ford could be a little bit more of a player. I think they need, because Toyota's so good in the hot temperatures, and we talked about that a lot last year. And I really think that plays into their kind of playground there. But maybe Ford ends up being a player here tonight, and that would change. That's something I'm going to monitor and watch.
Yeah, I agree. That actually might be a strong take. Like Blaney could be strong tonight if they race in the dark.
Who was the strongest Ford in practice and qualifying? It was Gregson, then Busher, then Blaney?
Gregson, Busher.
Briscoe. You like Briscoe.
I actually thought Briscoe was good.
Yeah.
But do the fact I think he's going to be good versus how he'll actually run, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
that's.
I think you saying that you still have trust with Busher Briscoe might come true like at a race like tonight if he does have to go that higher line, because we kind of throw him to the side since he hasn't done anything since winning at Phoenix, in 2022. So I'll be interested to see, but maybe that gives us an opportunity to bet a little bit more of a better number on like a top Ford. Maybe that's something I need to start looking at as you keep doing the show.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Someone asked, Go Fast Troy asked, did Blaney have a good practice at Charlotte? Well, practice got rained out, so we didn't know.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I guarantee he would have been fast because that car was a rocket. So,
and you were there.
There was no practice there. But all right, Derek, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to bring in
Good deal, man.
Highline Betting here. Thanks for popping in.
Thanks, Worm.
Zach, what's going on, man?
What's up, Worm? How you doing, bud?
Yeah, you have to adjust a little bit. We got to do a little half screen here.
Yeah, let me see. All right.
So this is Zach from Highline Betting. This is the face behind all the metrics that he has on his Discord. So the non-loop data, right? That's the name of your Discord?
Yeah, and it's just because NASCAR has their loop data.
Sure.
And I don't like it. I think it sucks. I think it's better to make your own metrics. So that's what I do. I go through the lap by lap of each race and make my own metrics off that.
Okay, cool. So who's your pick to win today? And we'll just start with that.
If we're just picking, not based on odds, it's Hamlin would be my pick to win.
Okay.
I just think him and Larson are way above the else today or tomorrow when we go. We'll see.
But okay, let's take odds into account. Then what do you like?
I like Ty Gibbs. I got him at 12-1 last night. I think practice he's qualified well. I think he'll be there. He's going to be in contention today, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
Shows it.
Did you see that price that popped on Truex at 16 just now?
No, where was that?
That was at Bovada.
Okay.
I bet it a little bit there. Like we were just sitting here, and that's why I do this, right? I like to obviously there's a lot of smart people. You're one of the people that I lean on. We have a conversation before every race. I would say we're texting and just bouncing stuff, ideas like, hey, here's where I'm at. What are you thinking? What are you seeing? And that, dude, someone popped on and said, "Hey, Bovada has Truex at 16." I was like, "What?"
Yeah, that's crazy. I
that's
missed that.
That's a crazy number. I mean, now he's 12, so we've moved it a little bit, but I was kind of shocked that that 16-1 price. 12 is even a great price. I think on Truex. Now, I don't even know if he's a top. I don't know that he's a top 5 car, but I mean, 16-1 on Truex in a 1.5-mile track.
Yeah, and he was good in practice also.
Yeah.
I go through the practice data, and I would say the guys that I thought had the best practice were Hamlin, Byron, Larson, Gibbs, Reddick, Truex.
Yeah, I would
Then
agree with that.
Kyle Busch right after those guys, but
Yeah,
those 5 were kind of the top, and it's Gibbs and Hendrick, and it's kind of what we expect, or at least what I expect.
yeah. Is anyone shocked that Gibbs and Hendrick look good? I mean,
No. I think the way to make money is maybe try to figure out pre-week who of Gibbs or Hendrick is going to give you the best value. Numbers anymore. You got to kind of, and I honestly, I think we're back to where that season where Harvick and Hamlin just won every week.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're at. It might be 3 or 4 drivers winning every week, because I think you have to have Byron with Hamlin and Larson.
Yeah.
And I think you'll see a Toyota driver, another Toyota, eventually step up and be that probably 4th team.
Okay. So who do you think the best Ford is today?
Oh, I actually bet Michael McDowell.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, just because I think there's opportunity there today. Because there's no clear cut best Ford.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his practice data. I thought on my rankings, he's the best Ford in practice. Not by much, very, very small amount over Noah. I thought.
What price did you get on that?
11-1.
Yeah. So even though, like, I know that you don't beat around the bush here. Obviously, I'm very heavy Gregson, but you bring up a good point. McDowell looked decent, and if you're gonna put him heads up against Noah, but you're gonna get a better price than McDowell, McDowell's the better bet. Can we all agree? I don't have him top 4, but I also can sit here. I'm not gonna be clouded with bias to the point where I don't think McDowell is gonna be decent. Like it, he's also in that matchup. I don't even know what he is in that group that I have. Like the bet I gave out for the group was Gregson plus 240 over McDowell, Hocevar, and Dillon. But now I think that's probably moved a little too much.
Yeah.
To where you can probably find value on McDowell. So I don't hate McDowell. I just think here's what I think Gregson also has a little bit of like value we can't see is if the line does move up and it gets right up against the wall. I like Gregson's ability to find speed up there more than McDowell. But McDowell looked decent in practice. Like you can't look at his practice times and say, "Oh, he's going to be trash." You can't do that. So
no, and it was basically just a pure practice play. I mean, I have him 15th overall in my rankings, and that's the 4th Ford. But the 2 Fords in front of him are 13th and 14th.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Blaney's at the fringe of the top 10. So like it's more of just a number and a chance. He's not gonna mess up, I feel.
Yeah.
Especially at a track like this, like at a road course, McDowell might mess up because he knows, hey, this is my chance.
It's a chance to win.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think here he's always just trying to get a good finish, and probably the top Ford is going to be just a good finish today. I don't think it's going to be anyone in the top 7. So
yeah, no, that's a good point about the what we've kind of the evolution of the sport this year is cars that have a chance to win are more likely to make a mistake, and not take a chance. Where we've seen guys, we talked about last week where Suarez stays out or Hemrick stays out because their cars are terrible. They might as well stay out. It's their downside is 2 or 3 spots they're going to lose with the potential of making 15, 16 spots. So you couple that. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but with McDowell, because he doesn't have a race winning car, he's looking and going, hey, I have potentially top 10 stuff. So we're going to do whatever he can to get a top 10 finish. But you take McDowell and put him in a road course. He thinks he can win. And this is one of his few chances to win. He's going to take extra risks in order to potentially put himself in a winning position versus today, top 10 be a hell of a finish for that 34 team. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
And there's a lot of drivers like that, you know, they only have certain tracks, that they're really good at, and, they don't fare well there. It's probably because they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like Bubba and Reddick. You would have thought they would have came in and dominated in practice, qualified well. Reddick was okay in practice. I don't think I have Bubba that far up there at all, which was kind of surprising to me. He's 12th. I thought he would be a lot better.
Yeah. The crazy thing about Bubba is he went out there and he did not pit. He just went and ran consecutive laps, which makes me think he likes his car. But Bubba's looked way faster in practices than he does right now, right? Like he doesn't look that great, but yet he ran all the laps. So I'm not quite sure on Bubba. The other thing with Bubba is I think that Bubba's more talented maybe than Bubba is, or Bubba thinks he is. Like he gets so down and he talks about how, oh, well, I need to be mature about my comments. It's like, you just are mature about your comments, or you say you're mature about the comments. You don't do both. Like Denny's even talked about it on Actions Detrimental. Like he gets down on himself, and Denny's needs to be like, hey, by the way, you're an elite race car driver. Like you're going to have bad days. People are going to race you hard. It's not because they don't think you're going to be there. It's because they actually think you should be there. Like that's my take on Bubba.
But yeah, what surprised me with him the most this year is he seems a lot better on the short tracks and
he does.
And worse on the mile and a half.
Yeah.
Like
which is opposite.
Yeah, which is weird. I would have thought, like, if you would have said, "Hey, Bubba wins a race this year, we're at Kansas, Michigan."
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But this year, I wouldn't say that. He might sneak a win at one of the short tracks.
It could be Richmond. He ran well.
Yeah.
It could be Martinsville. He's been successful there in the truck. So I agree. Bubba all of a sudden is becoming him and Chris Bell, especially. I think Chris Bell's really separated himself in that shorter track package. But maybe Bubba's seeing some of the benefits of that. So anything else you get? Where can people find your stuff on social media? You still doing laying coin stuff? What's going on there?
Yeah, I have my own Twitter, Highline Betting, and then I'm on Laying Coin every week with Skybox, Mark, and Rory Picks, and we just have a good time over there. And then we have our Discord that we run. Half of it's free, and then half, if you want the data analytics and the stuff that I do, that's paid for. But
cool.
Other guys, they post all their stuff for free, and I'll just give a shout out to the guys that do our F1. They've been on fire, T-Man and Auto Lotto, so they do a great job. I mean, I followed one bet yesterday. I won money.
Awesome.
Works for me.
Isn't that funny? You kind of start betting a lot, and you just kind of you learn to just trust certain people, and you just get a message. You're like, oh, that's probably a good bet. Like, okay, I don't need to follow, but you do have to, in order for me to tail bets, I need to know that the person that's sending me the bet has skin in the game. Like, are you betting it? And are you betting significant money for you? Like, whatever that means, like, because if I'm going to bet it, I'm going to bet significant money. I want to make sure that you are putting in proportionally significant money. So it looks like those guys are doing well. Follow Highline Betting. You know, if you want to hop in the Discord, absolutely do that. So, thanks for hopping on, man. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Yep. Take it easy.
Later, man.
Yep. See ya. Well, hang on here. All right. I get to bring on this guy who chimes in every week, but we do not know what he looks like. And he's wearing a fucking San Francisco hat. And I'm a Lions fan, so I immediately have to give him shit. This is Big Ross, everybody. Let's hear it for Big Ross.
Had to come out of hiding for your birthday. How are we, bro?
I'm good. So look at those flowing locks there. How long you been growing that out?
I started during the pandemic because I was like, no one's gonna, I can kind of hit that period where you don't want anyone to check your hair out.
Okay.
And just powered right past that. So yeah.
All right. Nice. So obviously you're someone that chimes in every week in the pre-race poll. I think we read practice times very similarly. Where do you live? You in California?
I am in the Bay Area, yeah.
Okay.
Down in Jesse Love territory.
Okay, Jesse Love territory. All right.
Yeah.
So your closest track is Sonoma then?
Unfortunately, yeah. Yeah, my nearest track is Sonoma.
Okay. So Big Ross, what's your handle? Rostradamus?
Yeah, but I don't really tweet shit out. So
Okay.
not really worth the follow there.
Okay, perfect. So don't follow him. Just tune into the pre-race poll and you'll hear his comments.
Yeah, for the most part, like I'm throwing as much information as I can out there to try to help some people out.
Okay, cool. So obviously I respect your opinion. If we disagree, that happens, but it's rare. So who's your pick today? Who do you like?
I mean, look, it is every 1.5 track. I'm gonna say the same thing. It's the 5's race to lose. He is like, it's just that's how it is right now. He's got the best car. He's got the most talent, and if him and his team hit on everything that they should, then he should win the race. But as everyone knows, with that 5 team, they do not. That doesn't always come to. That does not always happen.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree.
But I think as far as like speed, I think the 5 team and the 11 team, as far as practice went, were kind of on their own tier. And then after that, there's a kind of a handful of cars. But I'm pretty high on Truex. I liked his number at 11.5 to 1. So
the 16 was good.
Yeah. That was nice. That was very nice. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm kind of right there with you. I think if I had to pick someone to go out there and just dominate the race, I'd say Larson. If I have to pick someone to steal it late or run top 3 all day and then steal it late, it's Hamlin. And I don't want to say steal like that's like like he's stealing it, like he doesn't deserve the win. I'm sure Hamlin's going to run 2nd, 3rd, 4th all day. But it'll be interesting to see how this Truex does. I know that he fell off a little bit late in practice, but I know that you pay attention to the same stuff I do. He had to have been trying a different line because his lap times fell off so much. Do you think he went to the bottom and was like, hey, let me just see what this looks like, or what?
Yeah, I don't know for sure. Usually when there's something like that where a guy like Truex just at the very end kind of hits a wall, I don't weigh it quite as heavily because I kind of know what I'm getting from Truex. Like Truex is kind of a guy where if I see any kind of speed out of him and his car, then I feel pretty confident. And he showed me the kind of speed in practice this week that I was hoping to see. So I thought that after practicing qualifying, him and the 24 coming out at 12 to 1 were pretty obvious hits.
Yeah.
But outside of that, now like everything's been fucking hammered. It's really hard to find anything of value.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about like lines marinating for a while.
They didn't even have that long because they came out so late. Like I was sitting there going crazy because I couldn't figure out when these things were fucking coming out. And then they came out and they got hit pretty aggressively, pretty quickly. Where if you didn't get them in the first half an hour, you were betting into things that, that had seen 20 cents, 15.
Yeah, everything's moved
sometimes,
lot.
But by now everything's moved like 50 cents, 70 cents even in some of these. So yeah, I still I think Truex top 5 plus 150. I got it at 160. I still think I think Truex is I mean, you're not getting paid for that, but I feel pretty confident in Truex.
I think he's a top 5 car. I mean, you don't have to convince me. Like,
yeah,
I'm all of a sudden very heavily invested in Truex. Like, it's so funny. Like,
we
when
all
I started this live thing, I was
now,
like,
yeah.
oh, you know, I think Larson wins in a beatdown, and now it's like, go Truex. Like, at that price, and that goes to show you the difference between just picking a winner and the betting. Like, I thought Truex is going to win, you know, or I thought Larson was going to win. Seeing Truex at 9-10 to 1, I wasn't that interested based on that Larson price, who I thought was really good. All of a sudden, you show me a 16 to 1 Truex. It's like, oh, well, I'm going to change my tune.
You just have to, like, that's one of those where you have to take that. Like, you just have to take that. So.
Yeah, Brian was saying that Elliott at 16. I'm not as high on Elliott. I think he's going to be decent today, but I also think you can probably find a better price on him. If you think about Elliott getting to the lead versus Truex getting to the lead live, Truex is going to drop way quicker than Elliott. So that's why I think that I like, although I agree slightly that there's some chase value there. If Truex gets to the lead, he's going to go to 3 to 1 or 4 to 1. Whereas Chase, you could probably still get 8, 9, 10 to 1 in my opinion.
Plus, like, I think to me, Truex showed more speed. I think Chase will be solid. Like Chase showed enough speed where I think he can be like a fringe top 5 guy. Especially with the pit crew that he has. Like, he's not going to lose positions, I don't think. Like that, if you think back to that year where he, what was that, 2022 when he was first in points.
Who is this?
Where, like, Chase.
Yeah.
Where, like, that team didn't necessarily always have the most speed, but they didn't
make a mistake.
But they didn't, they were just good every single week. And I think they're kind of getting back into that, where, like, you don't really want anything going against Chase right now, because that team seems to be very, very, that team seems to be over whatever they
whatever they had. Like, they're actually finding speed and not making mistakes. But that's a good point. You know, back in, I think he won 5 races in 2022 or 5 or 6. And he was the best car maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
And he still won. It's kind of like, I think Byron's kind of taken that over. It's like, hey, he's got a little bit more speed, but also very few mistakes up until recently. So I would agree that they're kind of, it's hard to bet. You can't bet against Chase right now. In my opinion, like, you might not be able to bet on him, but you certainly can't bet against him because they're just not making mistakes. So, all right. Well, hey, Big Ross, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Nice to meet you, you know, via video. Obviously we chat often, so I appreciate you coming on. And you know, maybe next time we have a little delay, we'll do this more often and just have people pop on and see what their picks are. But thanks again for hopping on, and I'm probably going to end the stream right now. My wife just got home, so I'm going to go say hi, and I don't know, kill time. What do we know? Is it going to go green at 4 Pacific? Is that the plan?
You know, I quit looking. I quit looking, but
yeah, I know. And it's not like they're going to tell, like, the channel is supposed to be on. They're playing golf in Canada. Like, I don't know. It's hard to find. I don't even know. Do they even have coverage on right now? Can someone tell us in the comments if they do? Someone in the comments, let us know. Hey, actually, Phil, do you want to come on? I'll have you come on if you want. I can see you there. I'm going to send you a link, Phil. You're coming on. You don't have a choice. So get to your computer. I'll invite you. Jet dryers on the track soon. Phil, check your go to your computer. And I'm going to send you a link. And then you can hop on. You can take Big Ross's place here. All right. So, hey, Big Ross. Hey, thanks for popping on. I appreciate it. Cheers, buddy.
Happy birthday, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. Weather system looks like it's just sitting over Kansas. Isn't that perfect? So everyone should be tuning into this show since we're at least, still going. I feel like there's like a phone-a-thon. Just keep going. The show that doesn't end. This show rules. Thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah, looking at Lando Norris minus 900. the hell is going on in F1? What channel is F1 on? Not that I care. I'm so anti. Oh, Formula One racing. Lando Norris is going to win. What were his odds before the race? Is there any? Does Verstappen have any chance at winning this? Poor Spider. He could pick the winner. Oh yeah, I'm not checking out. I mean, I might as well watch it. I don't want to watch golf. I have no interest in anyone that's playing there this week. He's 3.3 seconds back. It looks like 3.4. 3.4 now. I mean, so is this over? Verstappen's not going to win? I mean, what a joke. Oh, we got Phil here. All right, I'm going to pull Phil up, see what he has to say. Let's see here. Phil, what's going on, man?
What's up, Chris?
How's it
Chris,
going?
how you making out, man? Happy birthday. I hear it's your birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, I just decided to go live and get a bunch of people on here and get their picks for the race. How'd you do in the truck race last night?
Pretty well. Yeah, we hit a good amount of head-to-heads. We were trying to avoid throwing a lot of outrights together, and we did hit on Corey Heim. Like, I think the one play that we said was like take Toyota, because it wasn't much less than just Corey. So we hit that and hit a good amount of head-to-heads, which was our strategy. So felt pretty good coming out of that race.
Yeah.
But pumped you were doing this, man, because it really is like dead. I mean, I was actually thinking about the announcers that keep coming back to the studio and the guys in the track, and it's like, damn, they're working way harder when it rains. And you're
might as well just hop on and talk to what like people that actually have skin in the game, like those announcers. They don't have skin in the game, so like, they look at the odds board and they're like, oh man, you Larson 2.5 to 1, you gotta like that. It's like, no, we hate that. What do you mean? Like, Larson's won one race this year. What do you mean 2.5 to 1? So yeah, thanks for hopping on. So who's your pick? Who wins today?
Well, I'll tell you my strategy as of late, Chris. I haven't kind of bounced this around to you at all, but my strategy on the podcast for the last couple months has been like pick a manufacturer and then play some insurance around that. So like who's going to beat me? So I've played Chevy. Chevy was who I played at plus 140.
Okay.
And so I was, happy to see that got a little bit of closing line value there. I mean, they're down to like different numbers there. But as far as like trying to think like who's going to beat me, earlier in the week, we said 6 to 1 for Reddick. I was scared of him, so I didn't want to lose to him. And I still feel pretty good about Reddick. But I think what you and Big Ross were just talking about with Truex, he's, I think, pretty pretty decent value. So I don't really have much more to add with Truex. But as far as, earlier in the week, it was Chevy, it was Hamlin, and it was Reddick to try to play some insurance around the Chevy pick. So still holding true there.
Who's gonna win? Can you give me that? Like, I know I asked a tough question, but who's your pick to win again?
I'm gonna go with Reddick.
Okay, perfect. So you pitch us a Chevy bet, and then you think Reddick wins?
That's my insurance policy, right? So
okay, gotcha.
Reddick, I think, is built for this. I think he didn't qualify as well as we probably liked. Yeah. But I'm not so scared of that. I think he's really strong here. Obviously, we all know that. So I think he's got a good number still. I mean, he went up actually. It was like,
yeah, I know, which is crazy. Like, what more do you want out of him?
I don't.
He looked good in practice. He qualified.
I know.
Decent, and his price goes up. If you're not Larson or Hamlin, your price is going up after qualifying. Like,
it's really weird.
It's a joke.
Really weird. So, unless he puts it on the poll, which
unless he polls it. So that's the other thing. We've seen this in the past where guys have done nothing but look good in practice and qualify well, and their odds go up. It's like, well, what more do you want? What did you want to see? If their price is so dependent upon other drivers, like if Larson and Hamlin, those guys dominate the outright market. Like whatever the perception is on how good they are, they dictate the market, whether they think that Chase Elliott's good or William Byron's good. It's kind of crazy. Like, what more do you want out of Tyler Reddick in practice and qualifying? Like, yeah, I guess you'd want to see him qualify a little bit better, but ultimately it has more to do with Larson than anything else.
100%. I mean, and I'll take that. Like, as a gambler, if the books are terrified of Hamlin and Larson on a week-to-week basis, like, that's fine. We'll be taking those upped odds on a week-by-week basis. I mean, I was shocked to see Larson go down. Like, what's he starting fourth? I guess that has them shook a little bit, but he wasn't like, we've seen Larson be kick ass on Saturday. And he wasn't that yesterday to deserve kind of dropping to where he's at right now, 2-1, don't you think?
I mean, I don't know. He looks like this often. That's the thing. He looks like this every week, right? So he looks good after practice, and there's guys that qualify well, and there's guys that don't qualify well. The antithesis of Kyle Larson is Kevin Harvick, right? Where he's just, all right, he doesn't really look at the stopwatch. He just looks at the handling of the race car. If we were to see someone actually go out there and lead 85% of the race, it's Kyle Larson, right? That's the only guy you're going to put up there. Denny Hamlin doesn't lead 85% of the laps. Truex is one guy that could, if he all of a sudden looks good. I love that price. Were you watching earlier the price we got on Truex?
What was it, 16? I just heard you talk about that with Big Ross. I did not benefit from that. Yeah, I was not listening at that point. That's wild.
I thought it was a joke. Like, is that to win the championship? Or either way, I love it. Like, is that a championship? We've got him down to 12-1. So apparently this live stream's doing something. Like, what's the next price we want to murder? Like, is there a price that we want to see like on a sports book where we can just go, you know what? Let's just this is a little high. Let's just beat that down to nothing.
Well, what's Byron at right now? Did you guys kick his number
Byron's
down too?
plus 750 on DraftKings.
Okay.
Let's see, on FanDuel, 9. I mean, he opened 12. Yeah, just out here murdering lines for fun, Ryan. That's all we do. Like, what bet do you want to see change? I mean, unfortunately I said this. I gave out, or I wanted to give out, Dylan over Priest, and they took it off the board.
Oh, yeah, because that would have looked good.
I mean,
on the portfolio,
like, so they just took it off the board.
Well, let me ask you a question. The one bet that I'm most exposed at before from earlier in the week, I had Reddick over Bell for like multiple books, just like across. How do you feel? Shoot me straight there. Now that we've seen them on the track Saturday, how am I know Bell obviously.
The only issue is you just probably didn't beat the market. I think Reddick beats Bell. I think Reddick beats Bell. You just didn't get the best number.
Yeah.
I don't know
Which surprised me.
What number you got versus what number you got versus what number's available now. What'd you get?
We got like minus 130, minus 120. I saw at one book he was the underdog, minus 110. So I didn't get that.
I still think you're on the right side.
Okay.
I mean, I know he qualified 15th. It was a bad qualifying for him, but if you think that Tyler Reddick's going to ride around in 15th, you got another thing coming. That's not the case. And Chris Bell didn't look great. Chris Bell looks spotty. And to me, spotty lap times in practice mean that you can't keep the line you're trying to run. That's what it looks like to me. So, to me, if someone's consistent on their lap times, that means they're at least hitting their marks and they're hitting the line that they want, right? But if you see someone that's, kind of bumps up 0.2 and then they're 0.2 faster, that to me just shows inconsistency. And that means that race car is not as well handling as some of the other ones. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't fix it, and Chris Bell's obviously elite guy, going to be up there most of the day would be my guess. So that KFB Chastain line moved. Is that, I didn't give out KFB Chastain. I gave out Gibbs over Chastain. What's that line at now, Big Ross? But yeah, I still think you're fine on that. Bell, just he can qualify well. That's the deal.
Yeah, Bell is just someone I can't put my finger on. I mean, you guys were touching on him earlier. Like he seemed to figure out like the short tracks, and he just feels like he's right there of being like the next big thing. But then, I don't know, he can't get over the hump, I guess, to just be that dominant, to get up to that like varsity level. With some of these other guys, I want him to be. I want to have more confidence in betting him on a weekly basis, but he's just not there for me. And go to a track like this, I mean, Reddick stands out from all the metrics on paper, and that's how we got to that bet. But yeah, glad to hear that you still.
I still like your Reddick side. Yeah. So Millie's asked a couple questions. I want to make sure I address those. You said for DFS. I don't do DFS, but I can tell you who I think is going to finish higher. That's all I can do. But what about group winners? You'd have to give me a specific group in order for me to like, if you give me a group, I'll tell you what I think. But I also need a price associated with each person. So I guess if I pull up the groups are there even groups on DraftKings?
There were earlier. They might.
Yeah, if you want to pull them up.
I'll try to whip it up here real quick. So yeah, we got groups. Just want me to pick one at random here?
Yeah, whatever.
Little juicy one here. I'll go to group 4. Gregson plus 110, Bowman plus 110, or excuse me, 210, Bowman plus 210, Keselowski 275, Buescher plus 380. So Gregson, Bowman, Brad, Buescher.
I mean, I love Gregson, but I hate that fucking price.
I know.
Like, those are good drivers he's matched up against. Like, I don't know if you know this or not, but like any one of those guys could be fast. Like I have Gregson in a group, but it's up against McDowell, Dillon, and Hocevar. Not Buescher.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I got that at plus 240 like earlier in the week. I like that one, but I don't like those other drivers are good. Like Bowman, I don't think Bowman's going to be great today. In fact, I'm down on Bowman versus what I saw in practice. I didn't see short run, long run speed. He ran 7 laps and pitted, or ran 3 laps pitted, 7 laps pitted, or 6 laps pitted, and then pitted again. So I don't think he's going to be strong at all. But do I think that Alex Bowman could beat Noah Gragson? Yeah, I do. Like, absolutely. So that's a crazy matchup. He should not be the favorite in that. I mean, I'm not saying go bet other people because I do think Gregson's going to be good. But, I mean, Buescher's in there as well, right?
Buescher's in there as the underdog. I mean, I think they're giving them the longer number because, they didn't really look that great yesterday. So the books are kind of react, or in this case, DraftKings is kind of reacting to that. But yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. Like I also am on Gregson in a couple different ways today. And for Gregson though, like just as a fan or gambler, like you're kind of always on edge. I feel like with Gregson, because like he's not like trustable yet, right? Like we want him to get there, but like any little hiccup and it's like their day's done. Whereas like Bowman is kind of used to, just being mid pack, and then all of a sudden at the end he's like ninth. It's like, what the hell happened there?
No, ninth. I mean, ninth would be great. I'm more worried about like, green flag stops. Noah Gregson speeding pass through penalty, and it's like I'm not worried about the speed. Like I'm more worried about like, caution with 6 to go. Gregson stayed out. I'm sorry, what? Like everyone pitted. Like you're the only idiot out there. You'll be lucky to finish. Like if there's 5 to go, you'd be lucky to finish 20th. Like I'm more concerned about that. Or if he has a slow stop, like under caution or even under green. I do think, and here's where I like Gregson. I think he's a top 5 high line runner. So if he can run the high line and he's a top 4 guy, his car looks good. Maybe. I mean, I had him at 200 to 1. I'm sitting here like hoping that can cash, but I'm not gonna. I to say that he's a top 3 or 4 car, I think is aggressive. I think he's 6th or 7th if I had to bet. But yeah,
He coming off of the Derby yesterday. I'll say a line that we kept saying yesterday. Like, he needs a perfect trip. That's what we were talking about some of the horses yesterday. Like, some of these guys, like, they need a perfect trip. I feel like Gregson, like, kind of needs a perfect trip where you're not going to get those hiccups, because he's not a driver that can recover from a small hiccup like some of these other guys. So we'll see if he can get that perfect trip. I was staring at the top Ford number for a little while. I didn't take it.
What number were you staring
plus
at?
450.
Right now, so after practice and qualifying?
After practice qualifying today.
Yeah.
It's still there. I didn't take it just because, like, Blaney scares me. Like, he sometimes has just looked a lot better on Sunday than he has on Saturday. And it's like, why would I ever think to go against him? But so I left that alone, but I did take Gregson in a couple other ways. So we'll see. Hopefully he can go out and have a good trip.
Yeah, I think, Connor said Ty Gibbs is up to 18 to 1 on Caesars.
Okay.
I mean, we're we're entering territory where you just have to like take numbers. Like I didn't want to bet Truex, but at 16, that's a number. Now Connor's talking about Gibbs as 18. Well, I only see 4. Oh, that's 14. I'm looking at Bovada. I honestly, I'm not. I mean, I know Zach from Highline is on Gibbs, so maybe he should go add there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a Gibbs. I don't think Gibbs is race winning yet. I just haven't seen him pass enough fast cars. But dude, that's nuts. It goes to show you how fragile this market is. I mean, you hang odds for longer than anticipated, right? With this weather delay. More people just keep betting Larson. More people just keep betting Hamlin, and everyone. Oh, Big Ross has Gibbs at 20. When the hell did you get that? Did you get that earlier in the week, or did you get that recently? Let's see. Since it's going to be a night race, who does this benefit? I think the night benefits Byron because hot slick means it takes the advantage away from Reddick, Larson, Bell, and Gregson running the high line.
That's fair.
Gibbs opened 20 on Caesars when? Not after practice, huh? Oh, Friday. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Byron top Chevy 5.5 to 1. I mean,
check that out. Because Byron looked. I agree with your point about the night race, and Byron looked really solid.
Byron looked good.
Really solid.
We have seen him struggle in traffic. Like last week, I thought he was really fast at times. I thought he was the best car at Dover, and then next thing you know, he can't pass the 14th place car. So, I've always said if you're going to take guys to win races, they better be able to overcome a mistake early in the race. The only guys I've seen be able to do that, Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson consistently can do it. Truex, maybe. Chase Elliott, you could throw him in there with last week, but where Chase starts to struggle is you get a top 5 car. I don't think Chase a top 5 car was me passing Hamlin to go to the top 3. Like I just don't see that happen. Oh yeah, so Gibbs now 15. It's so funny.
I mean, I wasn't a really big Gibbs fan coming into the week either, but I mean that number 18, like obviously, it's kind of an auto bet. You have to take a little bit.
Yeah,
and it seems like people have.
Yeah, well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But it should be interesting. Hopefully, someone just said, if you want me to on again, I can talk about my truck bets last night. I hit an 18 to 1 top 5. That's great. 18 to 1 top 5. Who is that? Eric is Eric who was on earlier. All right, everyone's gonna start drinking liquor now. Hey, we just gotta make it to the end of the race, boys. Like we got a long race ahead of us. But yeah, I need a new beer. I gotta go pee. I gotta Caden Honeycutt. Yeah, dude,
he had to be Honeycutt.
Dude, Honeycutt was kind of scaring me. I mean, I had Heim last night and mildly concerned there for a second.
He looked really good. I mean, I love seeing drivers like that, kind of stepping up, guys who are not part of the normal.
Well,
Truck
and we've
series
seen Chastain running that car and not run top 5.
I know.
Like, you're telling me that Chastain gets more out of the car, like you imagine he does, but I don't see him winning that race last night.
100%. I love to see it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
we'll see.
saw
It'll be interesting.
Moffitt.
Dude, let me bitch about a losing bet for a second.
Here you go. I'll be your
I had
couch.
Friesen over Lane Riggs.
Friesen over Lane Riggs. Okay.
Okay, so Lane Riggs runs 20th all day. Friesen hits the wall, opening stint to run, never sees the lead lap again. Running 0.3 faster a lap and never gets back a lead lap. Just a joke. Oh my God. I just hate that shit. I hate like never having a chance. Like at least get them on the same lap and let them race it out. Like don't trust Friesen, not a true Canadian anymore. Yeah, it's just the NASCAR teams are uncovering cars.
Love that.
Yeah. I was pissed about that because I thought Friesen was going to be decent. Whenever that line gets really high up there, I like Friesen. I think he's good with that. Whenever you can rip the boards, I think Friesen's one of those guys. I think he's top 6 or 7 in the truck series. Wow, dude, Lando Norris is going to win by 7.3 seconds. So yes, I'm going to hate on F1 because even when Max Verstappen doesn't win, someone kicks the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, was this foreseen? Like, what happened? How does Lando actually get this done? Like, what happens to where someone wins by 7.5 seconds?
Lando got a safety car at the perfect time.
Oh, okay. Wow, that sucks. It sucks for people that parlayed the minus 800 with
sports books are just like
spider.
Oh, man. Those parlays are all cooked.
Oh, they're cooked. Well, all right, man. Well, hey, thanks for popping on. I think I'm going to end the stream right now.
Yeah. I appreciate the invite, man.
Briscoe over Suarez or Friesen over Riggs? Oh, Briscoe over Suarez. I mean, that Suarez that car last week was a donkey. It was slow. It was barely. It was not a lead lap car. Maybe tail end of 1 lap down, but most likely a 2 lap down car. I'm still pissed about it. It ruined my weekend. Briscoe was way better than Suarez last week. Friesen over Riggs, I could take over that. I obviously had less money on it. I can't bet as much on trucks. Valhalla Intel. Ian just loves betting. I mean, I have a significant amount on Ludwig at 25-1. That's for sure. And yes, if I'm still talking after the race, I will do a live show after the race, but it might be more drunken slurs than it will be actual coherent, non-emotional, objective information. That's what I think. So, all right, everybody. Cheers. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Chris.
So, take it easy.
Good luck, everybody.
See you later.